Wrestling loves to break people up. As soon as two people get together, somebody backstage is losing their mind because one day they'll split up and we can all have a party. Sometimes this happens in weeks and it's mad. We didn't even have a chance to care. Surprise, surprise, it can also go really bad. I mean, look at your significant other right now. You don't want to replace them. Or maybe you do. And if you do, stop watching this video and sort that out. Otherwise, let's go. Number 15, Crime Time become enemies. So a lot of these entries are going to be tag teams for obvious reasons. Ever since the breakup of the Rockers, WWE especially thinks that's how you can create a single star. Why don't we do it all the time? Now, I wouldn't have minded at all if Shad Gaspard or JTG had received such treatment, but WWE didn't even get them right as a duo. Should have got a way bigger push than they did. The proof of that was in the turn. Shad smacked his partner on the 2nd of April 2010 SmackDown when they lost in 40 seconds to John Morrison and R-Truth. Gaspard's excuse was he didn't need his friends anymore, and we had not planted the seeds for this at all. Then we did a strap match right away. All of this was so flippin' random. The truth is, none of it was thought out, and we did it because we needed something to do, which sucked because Crime Time had gotten themselves over in spite of their booking. Then management was confused why this didn't work. A wet fish could have told you. Soon after, both guys are put in lesser roles, and it hurts doubly these days. Shad Gaspard tragically passed away in 2020 after saving his son's life. It's way more important than any of the above, but still. JTG also kind of balanced out for a while and tried to make himself entertaining, but then got fired for basically having fun. This was WWE non-planning at its worst. We just ruined a popular team, and what did we leave them with afterwards? Nothing. Number 14, the Hart Dynasty is done. Tyson Kidd and David Hart Smith were a super solid tag team who should have been kept that way forever. Neither guy was going to get individual push in 2010, because WWE just wasn't focused on these type of dudes. They also had Natalia as their manager who was fighting too, so yeah, this worked. Just let them do their thing. Of course, we couldn't do that. And on the 15th of November, Raw, Kidd refused to tag in when facing Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater. Look at that date too. It is ridiculously close to the Crime Time stuff we just talked about. WWE just like to do stuff. What really killed this is that the follow-up plan was new tag teams. That's right. Smith went with Yoshitatsu and Tyson found a new friend in Cesaro. Now those two guys were great, but we are repeating ourselves. There was no point to this. We did it for an angle, and then realized there wasn't much else to do. The real kicker is that the Hart Dynasty could have been like the Judgment Day are today. Just let them keep going, evolve as and when. Instead, one day, I assume, Vince McMahon looked at a Monday night and thought a twist was needed. We can just do it here. That's never good wrestling. Let us carry on our catchphrase. It just doesn't work. Number 13, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler go to war. This is a strange one because a lot of people wanted it. The Ronda Rousey-Shayna Baszler feud was long talked about, and they were friends backstage. Usually that means you get good stuff, but you still need the support of the office. This is when you Google Ronda's comments about all of this. Even she knew. When they joined forces in October 2022, it was exciting as well because both felt so legit. Of course, they could actually kick ass, and the women's tag team scene needed something like this. A proper threat. Come May 2020, they were the tag team champions, which was excellent. Nothing wrong with that. When WWE must have taken some speed, because good grief, we rocketed through it, and Money in the Bank, for basically no reason, Shayna turned on Rousey. I think it was because they wanted to do the MMA-style fight at SummerSlam, and look, that scrap at the pay-per-view is a mixed bag, but the idea was solid. The execution was just watered down by those backstage, and that wasn't the problem either. The breakup was, it was the same story, we did it because hey, it's something we can do. Already decided that Ronda did the favors and that was meant to launch Baszler to the next level, and it didn't. WWE totally forgot about all this in record time. Just rubbish. Again, Rousey has been super vocal about this ever since, which sums it up. She didn't like it either, not what she envisioned, and not good all round. Number 12, Stardust stabs Goldust in the back. The Stardust character is much talked about now for lots of reasons, but the main one is if you do go and watch it today, Cody Rhodes really dedicated himself to this role. As much as he didn't like the gimmick, if that was his job, boom, let's go get it done. In February 2015, I guess Stardust felt like he needed an extra kick, so yep, after teaming with brother Dustin Rhodes for a while, he turned on Goldust, and now it was time for the WrestleMania match. Very cool in many ways, except for one issue, Vince McMahon wasn't into it. That's right. Therefore, it did not happen at Mania, which was the right place, and instead happened at Fastlane. Now, no disrespect to that show, but it's a B event, and the Rhodes fighting absolutely should have been put on the biggest stage. Look what they did in AEW years later. Instead, we got it done as soon as we could as Stardust began to hang out with actor Stephen Amell and started the Cosmic Wasteland. That group was actually pretty funny. When the end result of a breakup though was falling down the card though, yes, that's bad, not good, and a little bit silly. And if this was meant to cement Stardust as the mega heel, we didn't even give it a chance. I mean, why do you think Cody left the company a year later? He was super done with it all. He could feel the red tape. I just think if you are going to invest in a split, you've got to follow through, sit with the talent and work it out, or just don't do it. There's never any benefit here. Goldust didn't get any help either, and I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon actually forgot about it, and is absolutely redonkulous. Number 11, Team Rhodes Scholars is the same. But this time a few years prior. We're talking about 2013 now, and yes, somehow Damien Sandow and Cody Rhodes ended up together. They were a fun team, but that name, just the bottom of the barrel. At least this one had some sort of a reason, because Sandow had gotten some momentum and therefore was picked as the winner of the Money in the Bank. Of course, Cody then became jealous as McMahon loved that story. They fell out over a briefcase. On the 15th of July 2013 Raw, Rhodes attacked his friend, so it really is what we did just a few years later. The issue here is that Damien's big booking was to lose every single subsequent match. That's right. I know what you're thinking too. I'm sure he won the title in the end, so we're all good. Incorrect. John Cena defeated him, meaning Sandow became the first man to attempt to cash in and totally screw it up. So his character was basically ruined, and that's why we split the team up to help super over and forever popular John Cena. I don't know, man. Do you know what would have been better too, especially if this was going to be the plan anyways? Cody is super pumped for his bro and goes so overboard he's the reason Sandow doesn't win. That way, Damien being the first guy to fail would have had way more heat. I don't get why we didn't do that. It feels so simple, and after we were done, we had nothing. Another mistake? I think it's fair to say that. Number 10, the D-Generation X split, and it's still confusing. Let's say that D-Generation X was WWF's answer to the NWO. It was an utter success. There was no number 1 or number 2 group. Fans loved both, and they were different enough to leave their mark. Today, go and check out any best stable ever list. They're usually in it. By the time we got to 1999, it did feel like the run was done, especially as Triple H was clearly being moved into main event heel territory. He made that clear when he joined the corporation at Mania 15. He helped Shane McMahon and screwed over X-Pac. We were done. It did shock people and management felt like there was a plan. Billy Gunn won the King of the Ring, Pac and the Road Dogg stayed together and did okay in the tag division. Then in October, the game reunited them, but now they were the bad guys. My big question is, why was X-Pac fine with this? It made the whole thing so confusing, and then it all fell apart. Gunn's push didn't work, Road Dogg was just there, and yeah, X-Pac, he was lost because his motivations made no sense. It was actually Chyna who benefited because she went and did her own thing, was beating Chris Jericho for men's singles titles and changing the game. When we got to the start of 2000, nobody was even talking about the end of DX, and that wasn't right. They were too important for that. Again, an unnecessary snap decision. You gotta have that shock over substance. Or not. It's fair to say if the idea was to launch Triple H, it did go down well, but the bizarre coming together again wasn't needed and it muddied the waters. Dare I say that somebody may have missed some merchandise sales? Maybe. Number 9, Nydia sees through Jamie Noble. When you remember the Tough Enough winners, it's not great. None really broke through the pack to make a name for themselves apart from 2. Maven for obvious reasons, and Nydia, we do not talk about her enough and it's not right. What was great was her pairing with Jamie Noble as they played stereotypical ruffians who constantly cheated. Jamie was also an idiot, so one day to get out of the way of Tajiri's mist, he shoved Nydia right in the way. She was now blind and man, she played the up and then some. That was the 16th of October 2003, and apparently Rey Mysterio felt like Nydia didn't watch the television. On the off chance she didn't check the show, he told her what Jamie Noble did. Relationship over. Given the time frame, that led to a blindfold match between the two, which Jamie won. And look, it was fun and both guys got to lean into their characters. It was also on pay-per-view, No Way Out 2004. And after that, well, you can forget it because it was just totally downhill. By September, Noble was released and Nydia was gone by November. What a terrible choice this was. Nowadays, Noble is a very successful WWE producer, but in terms of his in-ring career, this was sort of it. It was the same for Nydia, and if we had kept these guys together, their futures would have been way better. Plus, they were really entertaining side by side. WWE really should have seen this and reunited them within weeks. It was also said the idea was to make Nydia a bigger star, but she must have fallen foul to the 3-week curse. We didn't really try to do this at all, and after a while, we gave up. It's so flippin' stupid. Number 8, the Wyatt split was senseless. Bray Wyatt was better than we gave him credit for, because not only did he survive bad WWE booking, he always found a way to make the best of it down the line. That's a level of genius few had. He always had that connection with the audience too, which is why he was one of a kind. He was operating on a different level. 2014 was just a year of breakups because the Shield were done too, and maybe due to that reaction, WWE felt like they should do it elsewhere. Therefore, in September, Wyatt told Luke Harper and Eric Rowan they were now free. Like rats, it was so unnecessary. Harper of all things joined the Authority, whereas Rowan did nothing. Then the two got back together anyway as a new tag team. By July 2015, WWE did go back on their own plan and everybody was buddies again. And this time, Braun Strowman was added into the mix. So at least we saw the situation for what it was. But also, why? Why did we do this to end up in a lesser position because we did, like a Professor Layton riddle? It would have been way better had Bray had this group when he was going into his feud with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 31, and maybe somebody would believe that Wyatt had a chance of winning. As it was, that was never going to happen, and it just helped nobody because the fans weren't demanding it. I think we were all happy with the Wyatts because they were cool and badass. Don't break up teams because you can't be bothered to think of a fresh story, and let the flippin' Wyatts do it. Number 7, the core is the new Nexus. Even though the old Nexus was fine, 2010 was such a strange time. Wade Barrett's original crew were the first new stars in ages to actually make some impact in WWE, so of course we had John Cena whip their ass at SummerSlam. I guess if that was always the goal, okay, but it wasn't. Because after the fact, WWE just tried again with the core. I don't mean like an apple. The idea was Wade, Justin Gabriel, Heath Slater, and Ezekiel Jackson for some reason were the centerpiece of the OG stable, so now they're gonna do better than ever. They did not. Even Edge and Christian had said before this the Nexus losing at SummerSlam was ridiculous. And don't forget, before the core, Barrett had been kicked out of his own group by CM Punk. So he was now focused to start a round 2, did nothing for his intimidating ways. WWE also split these so Nexus were on Raw and Core on SmackDown, which somehow made it even more convoluted, and also, they were called the Core. That's an awful name. It just told the audience they were second fiddle. I mean, you may as well have called them the new Nexus, which is, hilariously, what Punk was actually doing. Well, no, WWE did that, but it was a mess, and it didn't help any of the dudes who had beaten up John Cena and Justin Roberts when they debuted. That was genuinely surprising, and we threw it all away for no reason. This one was infuriating. Number 6, Enzo and Big Cass are done. And nobody knows why. This was like breaking up the Road Warriors, even though the teams were vastly different. But nobody wanted to see Hawk without Animal, and nobody really wanted to see Cass without Enzo. There wasn't a need. No matter what you thought of their in-ring work too, Enzo and Cass were crazy over from 2016 to 2017. So much so that when their mics broke on one night, it didn't matter. The fans just did their shtick for them. Apparently Big Cass wasn't happy though because he faked getting attacked, and yes, this was meant to be a whodunit. The answer of course was him. He had done it, and that's because he had attacked Enzo before this, and then after the fact wanted to take suspicion off himself. Then he admitted to it anyways. I mean, that's fantastic and great. Now, to be fair, when we did get the proper reveal on the 19th of June 2017, the fans were into it, and as mad as Cass's actions were, his reasons were sort of sound. He felt like he was in Enzo Amore's shadow, which was sort of true. That guy did shout a lot and often got them in trouble. That was legitimate too. It was the aftermath when it collapsed because Enzo went into the cruiserweight division, which was not right, and Big Cass was never properly used. He then had some very serious personal issues, and soon after a feud with Daniel Bryan, he was gone. Shout out to that guy though. He made an inspiring comeback after this. That's the important stuff. The real kicker was, since they'd smashed it in NXT and had an amazing Raw debut, fans thought this could be a forever run. Not like they'd ever been earmarked for single stardom, when as always, somebody couldn't help themselves. It's almost like it became, oh, these people are into them, so let's take that away. That's not what the crowd wants. Sometimes you just want to have some fun. Cyndi Lauper told us that, and apparently we weren't allowed it. Number 5, the end of the Iconics. This was insane and sort of similar to what we just discussed. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce were excellent as a team because you could do whatever you wanted with them. Didn't feel like they had any real inhibitions about winning and losing. They just wanted to entertain, and they did. They had the best niche. They got over 2 after debuting in April 2018, so much so a year later they won the women's tag titles at WrestleMania 35. This is when it did hit the rocks, because those belts got cursed. We didn't see them for ages when in August they lost the gold to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, and come August 2020, maybe due to the pandemic, WWE was looking for new ideas, so broke them up. This wasn't even anything angry either. They both cried or wept about this. It's proper draft nonsense. One of you can go red, and the other one can go blue. From there, Peyton never got the green light to do anything, whereas Billie was allowed to be a wonderful, goofy marvel. Used to give her CV to people as she tried to get new friends, and looked, it worked, it was so much fun, but that didn't help either. Along with Royce, she got released. Why did we do this? It helped no one. So it just goes to show that some combos need to be combos, and even if it was just for backstage skits and social media, they always hit home runs, and that counts too. It's not always about the main show. Ultimately, we took away an entertaining duo for no good reason, and then pulled the rug out from underneath them. I hated this. WWE stole it away. Never do that. Number 4, Lana leaves Rusev. This one may have been okay if the story hadn't been so bad, but 2019 WWE was horrendous. This was the proof it was a cuck storyline, and amazingly, we're not talking about that occasion, because WWE tried this first in 2015. Lana and Rusev did seem fine when the latter lost to John Cena at Payback, and of course he then blamed his wife. Apparently Dolph Ziggler was waiting in the wings, because as soon as he even saw the tiniest window, he moved in. What a stand-up gentleman. The commentators made this worse because they said Ziggler was trying to Americanize Lana, which sounds like gaslighting to me, and because Rusev got jealous, which I assume was the point, he went and brought Summer Rae into proceedings. It was weird and confusing. You need a private detective to figure this one out, including Rusev shouting that Lana and Dolph were wet fishes. To be fair, that one was quite funny. The real nonsense was TMZ then broke the very real news that Lana and Rusev were engaged in real life, when apparently Vince McMahon thought we were still in 1987. How could we possibly carry on a wrestling angle now this was out in the public? Well, mostly because nobody cares. We still stopped this story anyway, and never bothered to explain why, and it sucked. Do not forget the original row was about a pay-per-view result too, and yet Ziggler still thought it'd be the right time to make a move. Now listen, I get Rusev was horrible, but how was Dolph the face in this? He may as well have slid into her DMs. Could also tell that Rusev and Lana were better together because they had great chemistry, and while none of this was logical, it was way better than 2019, because good grief, that was terrible. And therefore, number 3, Rusev and Lana in 2019. That's right, let's talk about it right now. We will throw logic out the window and I do my best. But after yet more shouting in the ring, Lana revealed that Rusev was a sex addict. The Bulgarian brute was very sad about this and seemed to sell it like he was a broken man with these issues, so Lana went and slept with Bobby Lashley for revenge. Fantastic. Lana continued to yell at Rusev because he had tried to have intercourse with her in the tank before WrestleMania 31, and that got sold like death. And yet here she was banging Bobby and letting TV cameras film it. I get that's breaking the fourth wall, but it's still what happened. None of this made a lick of sense. It was classic WWE in 2019. Think of something and then just do it. Don't worry about the ending. You can figure that out as you go. No, you can't. Before long, Liv Morgan was involved to reveal she was having a lesbian affair with Lana too, and it was such crap. Guess what happened in 2020? They both got released. I mean, every time, man. Here's some bad creative that didn't work, and now sorry we gotta let you go. Nobody can survive that. It's more devastating than a one-winged angel. Number 2, the Hurt Business are closed for good. This was rubbish. It's the only word for it. You had a great group in the Hurt Syndicate who fans actually liked when poof, they're gone. What's even worse is this was during the pandemic. We never even let them run properly in front of a live audience. It was built well too, as MVP and Bobby Lashley got Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander on board. Within weeks, everybody had benefited. They even had a cool name. This could have run and run, especially with Lashley as WWE Champion. How many times have we seen that over and over again, yet somehow it still feels fresh? Then Bob attacked Shelton and Cedric on the 29th of March 2021 Raw because apparently they weren't pulling their weight. Those two got absolutely killed as well, turned into idiots in seconds. Without this Sable 2, WWE had nothing for them, so again, what were we doing? Lashley wasn't any better either, although he still ruled, and MVP just looked more badass speaking on behalf of the group as opposed to one person. This was nowhere near done, yet the credits were already rolling. Vince McMahon then realized this, so come September they were back together again for 3 months. In January we then went the other way, and the yo-yoing was terrible. It was just a tease if nothing else. Here's something you want for a little bit. This time Alexander and Benjamin fell out with each other. The flub are we doing? Lashley would become the world champion around this period too, so he could have used all the bodies as heavies. But no, why even bother with that? Number one, the Dudley Boys. WWE was so desperate to prove to you that the 2002 brand split was real, they broke up everyone. Anyone that could feel like a shock was included, which meant the Dudley Boys, and they were gonna be single stars. Not sure anybody wanted that, and not in a bad way. It's just since the ECW days, Bubba Ray and Devon worked together, so just keep doing it. It wasn't even that hard-hitting as it was literally due to the draft, meaning we got a moment where the two looked at each other as if they were heartbroken. That was nice, I suppose, underlined that it was a big deal, but within seconds the show moved on like nothing had happened. Then things got weird. Bubba was still Bubba and did okay to a point, but Devon got turned into a reverend. It was 1995 all over again. He also stole money meant for good causes and teamed up with the debuting Dave Bautista for a while. It was utterly ridiculous for that guy. The animal was huge, man. Just book him in the simplest way possible. If you want to see how bad it almost got, Google the way Vince McMahon wanted to sell why Dave was doing this. It could be the most offensive thing ever. Soon after this, WWE realized the Dudleys were better as the Dudleys, so yep, with no warning, Devon came back to help Bubba at the Survivor Series, and we pretended this was part of the plan. I'm happy to tell you that it wasn't. We had just gone back to what worked as we should have done. The Dudley Boys are one of the best tag teams ever, and I checked the calendar, that is more than enough. Know of any other breakups that people absolutely regretted instantly, mostly because it was rubbish? Make sure you let us know in the comments below. If you like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Then click the video on the screen to get even more information in your face. But otherwise, my friends, I appreciate you, and I will talk to you all again very, very soon.